Hello students, good morning. Today we are going to study again. Actually we are going a long way to ecology second again. In this connection we are going to study the last part of the ecology regarding this last part of the chapter ecology. We are going to study the pollutions and different type of pollutions. Well, we see air pollution. Regarding air pollution, so we can say that results from burning of coals, oils and wood, etc. Air is contaminated and polluted with the smokes, and colloidal system is formed, suspended particles, and these pollutant gases released from the human activities or volcanic eruptions as well. Burning fuels release sulfur dioxide into the air, which can enter the plants through stomata of the leaf, killing them afterwards. Sulfur dioxide also reacts with oxygen and rainwater to form sulfuric acid, causing acid rain, killing fishes and damaging building surfaces, etc. And so we are having a pie diagram to see sources of emission of air pollutant sources and their percentages. You see agricultural sector is producing 10% pollution, commercial and residential heating 1%, and consumer and commercial products 8%. Transportation vehicles are producing 27%. Industry are the major, what you call, giant pollution emitter. It is all industries are emitting 52% of air pollutants, and it's very just big source of pollutions of the air. Air pollutions, we see that part of the smog is a mixture of smoke and fogs, which causes chronic bronchitis in human beings and emphysema. Emphysema is a disease of lungs in which alveoli of the lungs, small vesicles of the lungs, get ruptured and respiratory disease is caused. Symptom of which is shortness of breath and uncomfortable breathing. We see in air or water, you see lead as a pollutant. Lead, I think symbol is Pb. Lead poisoning in the human body is caused by accumulation of high concentration of lead in our bodies, leading to cramps, loss of feet and hand controls, and even coma, and finally death even occurs in human being due to lead contaminations in the atmosphere. Water pollutions. Waste materials dumped into the water bodies pollute the water of the ponds, streams, lakes, rivers and oceans, etc., leading to a change, maybe damage, lead to the death of the aquatic inhabitants. Living communities in those aquatic habitats may lead to the damaging or even death of those communities. We are increasingly aware of the dangers of water pollution. Some pesticides, although increase crop yields, just production of crops, but they also poison the water, leading to damage of fisheries and livestock, even human being. Due to pesticides, so many just major lethal incidents happen. One example is vultures. Vulture are just perished from the from Pakistan and even India. And birds community is affected very much. Now in our childhood days there were so many birds in the different areas of the branches of the trees. Those birds are no more just in that numbers. They would have been they had been over there in our what you call areas, because of that pesticides enter in their food chain, and they affected and finally led them to their death. You see a very fascinating and beautiful diagram of causes of water pollutions. There are so many, that is oil spill in the water or rivers, tankers, septic tank, animal dungs, intensive farming, pesticide use, water tables, industrial waste, household waste, sewerage waste, waste waters, nuclear waste, and oil pollutions. All this collectively leads to a very heavy damage to our vital ecosystem of water, which are very much just essential for survival of all creatures, including we human being. We see the another name of water is life, so we must be careful and recycle those wastes instead of dumping as waste carelessly indiscriminately in our environment. So we see students that conservation of biological resources or bioresources and non-biological or abioresources of our our areas. So conservation means to save or reserves or conserve. Conservation of resources is the ethical and sustainable use and protection of valuable natural resources by human beings. Natural resources include renewable and non-renewable use of natural wealth on this planet, our Mother Earth, like air, water, minerals, soils, forests, plants, crops, oil, gas, animals, livestock, timbers, etc., to mention a few of them, our biological resources of Pakistan or as a whole of the global ecosystem. Well, students, you see different categories of bioresources. Primary bioresources, generated for specific application oriented purposes, forestry, agriculture and aquaculture are our primary bioresources. So secondary bioresources are generated during primary processing in industrial process as byproducts or residues during maintenance of large green areas. Now we see the third or tertiary bioresources occurs as residues in small amount in the generation place, which are not genuine, shows uncontrollable. For example, degradation during storage may have taken place. So these are tertiary bioresources which can be degraded, and that is shelf life of different fruits and vegetables in our country is very much less. That is why more than 50% or 60% of our citrus, that is Kinu maltas and oranges and even tomatoes, are just wasted because of what you call non-controlling of shelf life. They are wasted and not just circulated in markets for consumer use. So quaternary bioresources occurs after a product is used and can be distinguished according to the time frame of their generation after start of utilization in short, mid or long terms categories. So we see that policies for biodiversity conservations. There are so many what you call method of policies, government or NGOs, that is non-government organizations in our country. Need not to describe all these, just what you call ingredients or parts of the so we skip to the next what we must promote waste reduction, recycling and responsible disposal. A principle of CRO, conservation of resources, CRO, states that the people who are going to invest in any resources, they must prevent future resource losses in at all levels, individuals or collective national levels. Examples: wetland conservations, old buildings or architectural or heritage, our heritage conservations, minimum use of electricity and water, particularly at home. Household wives should be advised to what you call sustainable use of water, or reasonable use of water in the kitchen or at all levels, particularly what you call washing the cars and just houses and household utensils. We what you call use water indiscriminately. That is just unconscious, just crime of what you call natural resources wastage. Now, recycling of natural resources. Well, student, you see what is recycling. Recycling of natural resources is the method used to convert the waste material into useful products which can be reused in order to reduce the use of raw materials that would have been used again and again. For example, first type of recycling: papers, glasses, and irons, bottles, etc. can be used instead of dumping indiscriminately, which led to blockage of drainage and sewerage pathways. Second type is composting. Composting is decaying of waste material by decomposer, reuse of biodegradable wastes. For example, we can use the manures of the animals, poultry manures and livestock manures, which can be used for gardening and other purposes as well. Third type of reuse is WWV. V means tiny what you call parts, electronic parts, electronic devices. You see out of order CPU of computers and other electronic products are just neglectfully just rejected and dumped into the waste, but they should not be done likewise. Instead of them, their parts and just essential parts should be just saved and reused in any way in electronic what you call circuits on machines. Benefit of recycling. There are so many benefits, but major benefits are namely save energy. We can save energy by recycling of different items. Prevent pollution. We can prevent pollution in our environment by just recycling of papers, glasses and these sort of things. Economic security. Security. Economic security can be just in a way just carried out, maintains by recycling of things. You can just sell out your old papers and newspapers and old books and etc. type of materials, just old ghee canisters and bottles, etc. Number 5th, reduce the load of transport of waste to dumping places. Instead of carrying them away. You can recycle them at the spot, at the origin of just trash or waste. Number 6 and last is prevention of environment pollution. Recycling is going on, and that consumption of resource faster than it can be replenished is very unreasonable. Yani consumption or unreasonable way of consumptions. People are very indiscriminately using their resources. So we see that the use of renewable and non-renewable resources beyond the stored quantum of the replacement is called as resource depletion of resources, wastage, and the effect of resource depletions are extinction of biodiversity or species of animals and even plants. Extinction, they are eliminated forever from this earth, and coming generation are not in a way to see them. Just we mention to the children different name of the plants and animal, but they can't imagine or make a picture of them. If we just help them to see the live animals or plants, that is very much different than showing them or mentioning them, showing them in the picture or in book photos and mentioning them orally. Loss of biodiversity, a great loss, and flooding is caused, and droughts and rise of greenhouse gases, which is very much just dangerous and what you call catastrophic prelude to the catastrophic event for the earth. Now students, what are the solution of natural resources depletion? What are the method of solutions? We see more efficient use of electricity, use of more renewable energy resources or sources, and promoting of sustainable fishing rules in marine fisheries, marine biologies, oceanography, mangrove ecosystems, and our river fisheries and dam and other big water bodies, for example Chashma barrage, and so many what you call fisheries departments, and less driving, just automobile, excessive use of just automobiles, reducing food wastages, recycling of more recycling systems. We must chalk out develop devices of more and more recycling, particularly just young generations should be educated the method of recycling, and avoidance of single use of plastic bags, which is very much what you call ridiculous to see. Only in Pakistan those polythene bags are used, and government had banned once the use of these polythene bags, but it was not controlled. Again the use of polythene bags are just in very much use, and which is blocking the drains, polluting the environments here and there, and what you call essentially, and they are just blocking the agricultural lands, pores of the soil, and what you call so many just problems in the aquatic ecosystem as well. Those polythene bags are just a nuisance in the what you call environment or ecosystem. Now the home take message for you is that we must think in time about our depleting biological resources and global warming, so that we can avoid food scarcity, health hazards, and natural catastrophe at national and global levels. Our future generation should not be deprived of subsistence and aesthetic legacy of biodiversity and the natural resources. Our Mother Earth is the main shelter for all living creatures. So we must be just in coordinations and harmony with the cool with the earth, and so that we remain safe and sound in the cool lap of earth. So dear students, listen to this lecture and read and listen again. If it is possible, read out these lectures from slides loudly if you are alone, so that nobody is disturbed, and prepare for your exam. Attentive listening, writing and reading are the three collective ways of learning and memorization. Nothing like good preparation with hard work and diligence for your exam.